Hi, I'm Alex. I'm on the staff team here at St Neots Evangelical Church, and I'll be guiding us through our talks at lunchtime this week, thinking through big questions about God, coronavirus, and our world. I hope you enjoy them. Is coronavirus the world's biggest problem? Tragically, so far there have been roughly 350,000 deaths worldwide related to the new disease. 39 million have lost their jobs in America alone, which will doubtless have unprecedented knock-on effects for years to come. A quarter of all UK businesses are closed, spreading even more fear and uncertainty. All of this, I think, begs the question, is coronavirus the world's biggest problem? Is the development of a vaccine the most pressing issue in the world? What if tomorrow coronavirus just ceased to exist? Would all of our problems go away? We all know that returning to normal would not mean a return to a world without any problems. For example, at least 820 million people did not have enough food to eat in 2018. There's an estimated 40 million people today living in slavery, with a quarter of those being children. In response to the coronavirus pandemic, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres appealed for an immediate global ceasefire, but the Russian and the US governments have not yet given their backing to this, fearing it would hinder their own counter-terrorism activities. No, I think we know, coronavirus or not, there would still be major problems with this world: poverty, slavery, war, to say the least. But maybe there's a problem deeper than all of those. What if there was a cause to all of those problems, something that linked them? I think the sobering answer is that humanity bears the responsibility for so much of the suffering we see in this world. Even in a world pandemic, world governments, no others, can't be trusted to respect a ceasefire. It's our selfishness that causes those problems to grow and grow around us. The active actions of some, the uncaring indifference of others. This selfishness brings separation between people and points to the root of our problems. Not just that we're separated from others, but we're separated from God. Doubtless, you're familiar with what it's like to be separated from someone you love. This is even more painful when we are the ones who have caused that breakdown in relationship. Now, suppose you came down with a severe case of COVID-19 and you lived alone, and a neighbour offered to help, buying all your shopping for you and making sure you had everything you need. Imagine if, throughout all that time, you acted as if they didn't exist. Whilst one moment you accepted their kindness and generosity and money and took that for granted, there was no recognition of what they were doing for you. No thank you, no communication at all. Eventually, if you continued like that to take everything they were offering, but completely ignoring them, they would stop calling round, stop providing. And I think that is a bit what our natural attitude to God is like, living in his world whilst ignoring him. Like a lamp unplugging itself from a socket, or a fish jumping out of its tank. The freedom that rebelling against God might seem to bring is actually self-harm as we separate ourselves from the very one who sustains us. Isaiah, an ancient prophet who wrote a book of the Bible, puts it like this: "But your iniquities have separated you from your God. Your sins have hidden his face from you, so that he will not
here.
The Bible word for our selfishness that brings separation is another S, sin. It's sin that leads to the breakdown in relationships, in wars, in some hoarding materials from supermarkets, or many governments seeming more concerned with their reputations than acting with integrity. And God is not distant from this. Because God is perfect, he hates sin, all suffering that it causes and the selfishness that we reap. He rightly is angry at sin. And this means for us, shockingly, if we're living a life of sin, God is angry at us. Isaiah, in his word, says God will turn his face, his goodness, his love from us. If God is the sustainer and creator of all life, then being separated from him is to separate yourself from the source of life. What is the world's biggest problem? Doubtless, coronavirus is serious, deadly serious, but so is hunger, poverty, slavery, war, all the problems we as the human race bear the responsibility for. But this selfishness, these consequences of sin point us to the greatest problem as humans. We are trying to live in God's world without a second thought for him. And that's something we'll look at more in tomorrow's talk.
As well as the lunchtime talks, every evening at 7 p.m, we'll be putting up a video with an interview from a member of our church. And this evening's title is How Do We Really Care for People? Hearing from someone involved in the healthcare service. We hope you can join.